Hello Booktube, I'm Scott.
I'm Nelle.
Via Gunpowder, Fiction, and Plot. And this is a challenge that we've got. We were discussing this just randomly, and we thought, let's try and do this on camera and see.
So we're going to see if we can find 10 men that can write women. I just want to say, I think they have to be straight men.
Let's specify that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a man, and you're not going to have read them or whatever. I think that the audience, I think that you guys have to keep us accountable. When we say blah blah, if I say that Ernest Hemingway can write women, you need to slap me on the side of the face. Right?
I will. Promise.
Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
All right, men who can write women. I'm going to go for the low-hanging fruit, and I'm going to go for my favourite, Thomas Hardy, straight off the bat.
I have no evidence to the contrary.
I think that Thomas Hardy is pretty safe, so I'm going to whack. We are.
So one. That's one on the list.
Hardy is on the list. When I think of Hardy, I think of George Gissing, another straight man. I don't actually know if he could write women, though, but he's like a similar sort of style of author to Hardy.
I'm legit trying to think of straight men.
All right, well, we'll come back to Gissing. What about John Steinbeck?
And that was who I was going to suggest. I think Steinbeck avoids writing women because he thinks of them as foreign creatures. And I think that basically means the answer is no.
But Kathy.
I
think what's really interesting about Kathy is she's I think if you've read East of Eden, you have to acknowledge that Kathy is the best character. Like, she's an amazing character. I don't think you can read East of Eden and not say that Kathy is a well-drawn character. But Kathy is actually a lot of the tropes about women being evil of the time.
Yeah.
Like, while I really enjoyed Kathy as a woman who kicked ass, maybe I'm misinterpreting what Steinbeck's intention was.
I feel like she was awesome, but you're right in the sense that he hasn't really subverted the stereotypes of the time. He hasn't made fun of them or changed the expectation. He's fleshed them out into a real person, which makes for an interesting character, but it does seem to be based on stereotypes, which means that my sort of idea of John Steinbeck as being a bit scared of women or of writing them is not unfounded. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he's basing his best female character on stereotypes.
So do we want to put Steinbeck? It sounds like we're leaning away from
I think we're leaning away from Steinbeck being on the list.
All right. So I'm just going to go through famous authors according to Google, right? We can quickly determine whether they do women well.
Yep.
Arthur Conan Doyle. Don't know why he's number one on the list, but no, he can't.
No.
Charles Dickens.
No.
William Shakespeare.
No.
Okay, we've got somebody to talk about. What about Tolstoy?
Ooh.
Okay, I think we like Anna Karenina. He's picked not just one but two women and made them the lead of arguably his most famous book. In War and Peace, you've got Natasha, who is,
I think that Tolstoy might be a winner for this list.
I think what's really interesting about Tolstoy is Count Tolstoy, of the bourgeoisie, could write the proletariat very well.
Yes.
Now, I think that's the same skill that he needs in order to put himself in the shoes of a woman and write a good woman. Like, that's the skill you need to write somebody that you don't relate to.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't think you need to prove it in that way. I think his characters actually prove it for him. I think if you've read Anna Karenina, you would put Tolstoy on the list.
Okay. Hardy, Tolstoy, we got two.
Woo! Can we get to 10?
Okay. J.R.R. Tolkien. Didn't bother? No. F. Scott Fitzgerald.
No.
Isaac Asimov, no. Charles Darwin is a botanist, not an author, thank you.
I mean, he was published.
Yeah, okay, fair point. Lord Byron was a poet, and I have not read any of him. Bram Stoker. Mark Twain.
I don't think I've read anything where he has... Yeah, no.
No. I'm not saying he can't write women, I'm saying he didn't.
Yeah.
Oscar Wilde can't be gay.
I can't be gay.
Also, I don't think Oscar Wilde could either.
I don't think he tried.
Aldous Huxley.
I'm going with no. I feel like the one Aldous Huxley book I've read.
I wish I wrote an Aldous Huxley book.
Me too. The one Aldous Huxley book I've read had quite flat characterization of women. I think there were reasons for that, and I think that they were motivated differently because of the dystopian nature of the book, but I don't think that they were particularly good women.
I would agree that Brave New World doesn't have good women, but I think Chrome Yellow does.
I am more than happy, because I feel like the story didn't need good women. Do you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean he can't. That means he didn't. So if you have proof to the contrary in another book, I would be happy to bow to that.
You'd be happy to bow to it, because I really feel like I'm the man in this argument. I can say that a man can write a good woman all that I want. I'm not a good judge.
You're not as good a judge as me, but you are one of the better male judges that I've come across.
Well, thank you very much, but
you'd be an even better judge if you liked to have sex with me.
Yeah.
straight man is a crippling...
If only if I'd like to have
disability.
sex with straight men.
No, being a straight man is a crippling disability. That's what I was saying.
My testicles weigh me down.
They do.
George Orwell. Nope, we're not going to include George Orwell. That's just ridiculous.
Yes.
Edgar Allan Poe couldn't write men, let alone women. Alexander Dumas. I'm going to say no to Alexander Dumas, even though I don't think he wrote bad women. I just don't think he wrote good women.
Yeah.
Hemingway, obviously we put Hemingway, he's clearly rubbish. C.S. Lewis is a no. All right, next to our two for discussion. Lewis Carroll. I mean, how many women did he write? Did he write anything other than Alice in Wonderland?
I have no idea. I mean, that was like a series, but...
It was 2 books.
Yeah.
He wrote A Little Girl well. Does that mean he can write a woman?
I don't think that there is a spectacular example of writing a woman in his...
I don't think there's a spectacular example of writing a realistic grown-up in his work.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I don't think we can put him on the list.
Well, he's not a failure, but he's not a pass.
Yeah.
Victor Hugo. You've not read Hugo.
Well, who's the character?
Fontaine or Cosette. Maybe Esmeralda.
Are they three-dimensional? Are their motivations, actually penis motivations?
Yeah, no, Hugo can't write women. Let's, H.P. Lovecraft couldn't write anybody who was white. It wasn't white. Wordsworth, no. Kafka, no. Dante, no.
Chekhov, I was thinking about Chekhov when we were talking about Tolstoy. And I think that it's really hard to judge someone who's writing, real tongue-in-cheek humour for their characterisation. I think that's really hard.
Yeah, but you can judge Austen or somebody like that.
Yeah, but can you judge Monty Python?
I don't think Chekhov is quite Monty Python.
I mean, I do.
Do you?
Yes. Am I wrong? Chekhov is hilarious.
Am I getting Chekhov mixed up? Didn't he have Cherry Orchard and The Seagull?
Yes, I know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I'm getting him mixed up. Who am I getting him mixed up with? Ibsen.
Oh, Ibsen isn't funny.
Ibsen's not funny. But can Ibsen write women?
I don't think particularly, no.
You don't think Ibsen can write women? I'm gonna pander to your opinion.
Yeah.
Dostoevsky. You're looking at me. I'm the only one who's read Dostoevsky. To be honest, women in Crime and Punishment really just murder victims, sisters, or... Yeah.
So, no.
Robert Louis Stevenson will go for a no. Arthur C. Clarke. I don't even know who Arthur C. Clarke is.
What about Terry Pratchett?
I mean, if I said Douglas Adams, what would you say to Douglas Adams' characters' portraits?
Yeah, okay. I feel like that's difficult to judge.
Granny Weatherwax is a great character, and a very enjoyable character, and both men and women get joy out of Granny Weatherwax.
Yeah.
Pratchett could be
a yes.
A yes, but
comedic characters are not eligible?
Yeah,
I think comedic characters are difficult to, judge.
I mean, the thing is...
their quality.
Granny Weatherwax is a parody of, an old meddling witch. I do think she's well drawn and well considered and well written, and a woman. But has he got to the heart of what a woman is? Or has he just written a really interesting character?
No. How do you get to the heart of what a woman is? We're not a monolith. Exactly. Terry Pratchett is a yes, and my husband is a dick. You can't quantify us in one character.
No, you can't. But...
And I think that authors who try to quantify what it is to be a woman are the ones who end up writing stereotypical bullshit.
Yes. He has written stereotypes. He's just...
made them funny.
Okay. I feel like you judging my reading experience and putting Terry Pratchett on this list despite not reading a Pratchett is very dangerous.
I like to play in the danger zone. Also, viewers are keeping us accountable. I don't think we're getting anywhere near 10 at this rate, though, because... the snuggles that I'm getting from the dog.
Did we include Chekhov? I would like to put George Gissing on the
yes list.
On the yes list, especially if we're struggling to get to 10.
Tim Winton I'm putting up for consideration and immediately rejecting.
Yeah, I was going to reject that one.
What's his name Larson I'm also putting up and rejecting. I'm just looking for the men.
What's his name Larson, the dragon tattoo?
Yeah.
What about Ali Wiesel? Knight.
Oh.
There were women in that. I don't remember. A Fine Balance. A Rohingya Mystery.
You're putting that in the yes vote?
No idea what his sexuality is, but I'm going to put that in the yes vote.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what about Ishiguro?
I would lean towards yes. But my experience of Ishiguro is half a book, so...
I think I'm going to lean towards yes. I think that the most recent Ishiguro I've read is Clara. I think that Clara was a fully formed but weird character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Never Let Me Go, we've got a protagonist who's a young lady and...
and her vagina doesn't get in her way at all. It's quite miraculous. Not that the vagina is a requirement for womanhood.
Yes, I know. Also, do internal organs often get in your way? I feel like...
I mean, how many times have I stormed through market declaring that I'm crippled by my vagina. E.L. Doctorow.
I don't think Dr. O did in Ragtime. I think Dr. O failed to write good women in Ragtime.
I think he wrote a reasonably good woman. The grandma in the Book of Daniel, I think, was quite reasonable. But I don't think there's anyone who's good enough for me to say he writes good women. No. I'm going to say no.
No? Okay. Chigozie of the Army. Well, I think that he might write good women. I'm not confident. I would like to read more of his books. That was quite a male-centered novel.
And a lot of the examples I'm thinking of are actually like Cry the Beloved Country by Alan Payton. I think the women in that are quite well depicted, but it is so male-centric and they are so minor in comparison that they don't get enough airtime for you to really see. And I think that's a pity. And I think that's a lot of the problem with the sort of historical, like looking at older books by men, is that they don't make any character a woman unless they need her to be there for motherhood or sex.
And this is why Hardy and Tolstoy are so easy to put on this list, because they actually wrote women as central characters.
Or even just, like, if a character's gender didn't matter, it was more likely for them than for other authors to pick to make them. So I guess what's the, if that's the historical problem of why it's difficult to ascertain whether they could write women, what's the problem with modern day authors?
Well, I think it's the same. I think it's the Bechdel test, isn't it?
Oh.
You've got to be able to pass the Bechdel test in order to be assessed.
I don't think we can do it.
We've gotten relatively close. Let's just...
is halfway relatively close?
I think we're at 4 to go. I think we can do it.
He thinks we can do it. Stephen King.
Don't be ridiculous. Never read a King. Don't be ridiculous. But already I know you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Marcus Zusak from The Book Thief? No, I don't really think we can. I think I need to read more. Zusak again, our female lead as a child.
Yes.
What is?
Why are they so comfortable with women as children, you freaks? What's his name? Who wrote The White Tiger?
Adiga.
Yeah.
Can you think of a woman in The White Tiger? I don't think Adiga gets on this list. Okay, Emile Zola.
Ooh.
I have avoided saying that name for the whole video because I don't think he can.
Aww.
But then I saw Therese Raquin on my Goodreads shelf, which I'm going through. That is an interesting character. And this is something that I think is really weird because in the other Zolas I have written, his character, he does centre women in some of his novels, right? The Lady's Paradise does centre women. And Nana, a woman. The Germinal doesn't. Germinal has women in it, but it doesn't centre them. But those two books in Therese Raquin, probably 2, 3 and 4 on his list of big titles, all centre women. And I really do feel like Therese Raquin is a really interesting character. Again, this is my judgment. You have 3 characters in Therese Raquin, and 2 of them are women. You have, essentially, Therese Raquin is the cousin of this boy, and she has an auntie, or the boy has a mother. They live together, they grow up together, and the auntie wants them to marry, but she mistreats Therese because she's not her favourite, and Therese rebels against that.
But,
financial reasons or something, I don't know.
Yeah, still.
It wouldn't be come on, literary fiction written in the 1800s.
I get it, but... Anyway, let's not get bogged down on this.
I think he's actually got 2 women in this book with their own motive.
Yeah.
But he also has this man, and their tales are really twisted and wrapped. Therese Raquin is the title character, but really, these 3 characters are all very important. You couldn't have the story...
Yeah.
But I think that I'm going to have to put Zola on
the good list?
On the good list. I think that maybe
That's exciting.
He's failed in the past, but I think he's also succeeded.
That's exciting.
Ever been a woman in a Vonyet book you've read?
No.
No, I don't think Vonyet does it. So, what is the definition of writing good women?
I feel like this is very late in the video to be asking this question.
It is quite late.
We've already got 8 people on our list without defining what puts them on our list. I think the woman needs to be like a 3-dimensional character that is not a stereotype, is not only in the story to be raped, have a child, or is not there solely to drive the plot.
Yeah. Okay.
Which implies that they have some kind of character arc of their own.
What about P.G. Wodehouse? I know you've not read.
Well, defend your case.
Well, see, I've been skipping him the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that maybe in the Bertie and Wooster novels that Wooster's aunts, essentially the aunts manipulate Wooster. and Jeeves manipulates Worcester, and then the uncles hit Worcester on the head. That is basically the story of a Jeeves and Worcester novel. But also, Worcester usually ends up engaged to a woman that he doesn't want to be engaged with and has to get out of the engagement somehow and set up another couple to fall in love.
So the aunts.
But the aunts are the characters here, because the women that he falls in love with and he has to palm off to the other men.
And they are just plot pieces.
But he does write women that aren't just in there. And so, like, I'm thinking of, like, the Codes of the Worcester. One of the aunts wants to get this cream churner, this antique cream churner, that one of the gentlemen of the village has bought from under her nose. And so she brings Worcester down to help in a plot. And stuff happens, and I probably won't tell you what happens in the end. But this storyline is resolved with the aunt and the cream churner by the end, right?
Yeah.
And that is not the major storyline of the whole piece.
No, but she has her own...
She has her own arc, which is linked in with other characters' arcs, and that all comes out.
Yeah. Does she, as a character, have a fully formed shape, or is she just there to be the nagging force? Conform, little boy, conform. Does she ever say anything other than that? You know what I mean?
She gets some very cutting dialogue to
say it with, yeah. But is she really anything other than...
I really don't feel like many characters in a P.G. Wodehouse novel have a purpose other than that.
I agree that that's probably true because of the style of novel it is, but I do think that this conversation has clarified what I think about where the line is on comedy. They have to be a fully formed character. They have to be three-dimensional. They can't just be there to move the joke forward or move the comedy forward. And for that reason, I'm putting Chekhov on the list.
You're putting Chekhov back on the list?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had real difficulty because all the female characters are hilarious. But I just keep thinking of the women in the cherry orchard and how each of them has their own motivations.
So we're up to 9. I want to suggest somebody ridiculous for 10. I've got 2 dumb suggestions. Let's see if we can just knock them on the head quickly.
Yeah, okay.
What about Samuel Beckett? You've said Chekhov. What about Beckett?
Well, I've only read one Beckett and it didn't have a woman in it.
I have read the trilogy and Godot.
Yeah.
And there are women in the trilogy. But to be honest, I'm not even sure there are characters in the trilogy.
So the answer is no. Right, what's next?
Right. But on the same vein, what about James Joyce? Because it's the same...
Okay, so pick a character pick your best shot. Who's the character that James Joyce has written a good woman?
No, it's just nonsense.
Okay.
It's just nonsense. Joyce wrote nonsense. I'm sorry, I can't argue it. I just don't understand it a lot. Ian McEwan wrote Atonement.
Right. Who's the woman?
Bryony, protagonist.
And she's like a fully formed three-dimensional character?
Yeah. You follow her for her entire life. You start when she's, I think, 12 or 14. You also have Bryony's older sister. It's possibly problematic. I haven't read it for a while. I would love somebody to tell me.
Yeah.
I don't think it is, but I would love somebody to confirm. Bryony catches the sister and her fiancé having sex.
Oh, it's a movie with
with Keira
Knightley.
And,
I've seen it. I haven't read it.
The Scottish actor.
I think that's a yes.
Yeah.
We got to 10.
We got 10.
So, what do you think? Is there anyone on our list that you would consider to not belong there? Because we were definitely clutching at straws a few times in this conversation. And if you were writing a list of 10 straight male authors that can write good women, who would you put on it? Well, because we may not have read them. So, if you can put your authors in the comments, that might act as which male authors I read over the next few years.
Did we pick any gay men?
Oh, that's the other thing. Have we?
There we have it. This is our brainstormed list and our decision process of 10 male authors.